There are moments in life when we carry something for so long, we forget we're even holding it. A word someone said years ago, a choice we wish we had made differently, a relationship that ended before we were ready. We just keep carrying it, quietly, every day.
That feeling is so familiar, and I think the older we get, the more we accumulate. It's not always sadness. Sometimes it's just weight.
Exactly. And today, we're going to talk about how to express that in English. Not just the grammar, but the real words, the real phrases that people actually use when they talk about letting go of the past.
This is a topic that comes up in real conversations, with friends, with family, with a therapist, or even just with yourself, in a quiet moment.
So if you've ever wanted to talk about moving forward, or forgiving someone, or forgiving yourself, this episode is for you. You'll learn the natural phrases that native speakers use in these deeply human moments.
And if this kind of calm, meaningful English learning feels right for you, it might be worth subscribing to the channel. There's no pressure, just a gentle way to keep learning.
We're so glad you're here with us today.
Let's begin.
Before we can let go of something, we usually have to name it. We have to say, yes, this happened, and it affected me. In English, there are some very natural ways to do this.
One of the most common is, I've been holding on to this for a long time. That phrase, holding on to, is really important. It means you've been keeping something inside you, emotionally, mentally.
You might say, I've been holding on to a lot of anger since my father passed. Or, she's been holding on to guilt for years. It doesn't have to be something dramatic. Sometimes we hold on to small things, a moment of embarrassment, a missed opportunity.
Another phrase is, I've carried this with me. Same idea, something that travels with you through life, even when you don't want it to. I carried that rejection with me for decades.
And then there's, I never really dealt with it. This one is honest and quiet. It means you pushed it aside. You didn't process it. You moved on without truly resolving it.
These phrases are important because they're honest without being dramatic. They allow someone to speak truthfully about their experience.
Think about your own life for a moment. Is there something you've been holding on to? Something you've carried with you for years? You don't have to share it with anyone, but notice what words come to mind.
That self-awareness is actually the first step, both emotionally and in learning to express yourself in English.
Now let's talk about the middle part, the process of actually releasing something. This is where many people struggle, both in life and in language.
One phrase you'll hear often is, I'm working through it. Not, I've fixed it, just, I'm working through it. It's honest. It acknowledges that healing is a process, not a single moment.
I'm slowly coming to terms with what happened. That's another one. Coming to terms with means beginning to accept something that was difficult. He's finally coming to terms with his retirement. She's coming to terms with the end of her marriage.
There's also, I've made peace with it. This is a beautiful phrase. It suggests a kind of internal agreement. Not that the thing was okay, but that you are no longer at war with it.
I've made peace with the fact that we never got to say goodbye. That sentence carries so much. It doesn't pretend the pain wasn't real. It just says, I found a way to live alongside it.
In formal or professional settings, you might hear, I've accepted what I cannot change. But in a real conversation, with friends or family, people tend to say something softer. I've stopped fighting it. Or simply, I've let it go.
2 or 3 tips to remember here. First, these phrases are often used in the present perfect. I've made peace with. I've come to terms with. That tense signals a journey, something that started in the past and connects to now.
Second, the tone matters as much as the words. Speaking slowly, calmly, often with a sigh, makes these phrases feel real.
And third, it's okay to use still or slowly. I'm still working through it. I'm slowly learning to let go. Those small words make the language feel lived in and true.
Perhaps the hardest part of letting go is forgiveness. And in English, there are some phrases that carry deep emotional weight in this area. I've forgiven them, not for their sake, but for mine. You've probably heard a version of this before. It's a very common idea in American culture. The idea that forgiveness is something you do for your own freedom.
Another one, I had to let go of the resentment. Resentment, that's the feeling of bitterness that builds up over time when we feel we've been wronged. I had to let go of the resentment I was carrying toward my brother.
And then there are phrases about looking forward. I've decided to focus on what's ahead. I don't want to live in the past anymore. I'm choosing to move forward.
Notice how many of these use I've decided or I'm choosing. That language of choice is important. It suggests agency, that you are actively deciding to release something, not just waiting for the pain to disappear.
A natural conversation might sound like this. It took me a long time, but I finally made peace with how things turned out. And the other person might say, that must have taken a lot of strength. Or simply, I understand.
These are gentle, warm responses. They don't minimize the difficulty. They honor it.
Now, let's look at a few mistakes that are easy to make when using these phrases. The first one, saying, I am forgetting it, instead of I am letting it go or I've moved on. Forgetting implies the memory is simply gone, but letting go means the memory may still be there, and you've chosen not to be controlled by it.
Second, I make peace with it without the present perfect. The natural form is I've made peace with it. Using the simple present can sound a little abrupt or grammatically awkward.
Third, overusing the word forget. In English, when people talk about emotional healing, they rarely say, I'll just forget about it. That sounds dismissive. Instead, I've chosen to move forward, or I'm not letting it define me.
And fourth, be careful with I don't care anymore. That can sometimes sound cold or avoidant. If you want to express genuine acceptance, I've come to terms with it, or I'm at peace with it, feels much more emotionally honest.
These are small differences, but in real conversations, they shape how others perceive you and how clearly you express what's truly in your heart.
Let's pause for a moment and reflect on a few choices. Take your time. There's no rush.
Which sentence sounds more natural in a real conversation? I forget about my difficult childhood, or I've made peace with my difficult childhood.
The second one, of course. It honors the past while expressing acceptance.
Here's another one. I am letting go the past, or I'm slowly letting go of the past.
The second is correct. And notice how slowly makes it feel more real, more human.
One more. I carry a lot of regret, or I've been carrying a lot of regret, but I'm working through it.
The second sentence shows process, movement. It tells a fuller story. That's what good, natural English does. Today, we explored some of the most human phrases in the English language, the ones we use when we're ready to stop carrying what no longer serves us.
I've been holding on to this for too long. I'm slowly coming to terms with it. I've made peace with what happened. These aren't just phrases. They're windows into how people heal.
Whatever you're carrying right now, in your own life, we hope today gave you the words to express it, in English and maybe even in your own heart.
And if this episode meant something to you, feel free to share it with someone who might need it. And if you'd like to keep learning with us, we'd love to have you subscribe to Leo and Luna Talks.
There's a new episode waiting for you whenever you're ready. No rush. Just come back when it feels right.
Until then, take care of yourself. See you next time.